Hey guys, so in this video we are going to see how to perform operations with our variables, and we'll also see how to check if a number is odd or even, and we'll introduce also boolean variables. So let's start. So this is what we have so far. So we have step number 1, we are assuming that the user is playing with odds and the computer is playing with evens. On step number 2, we are assuming that the player or the user is always playing with number 1 and the computer is always playing with number 2. And so now we have two variables where we are holding the values for the numbers of each player. And in step number 3, we are going to sum both numbers. And summing both numbers is basically, or summing variables, is basically the same as in math. So we just use the addition operator, the plus operator, and we do player number plus computer number. And this basically sums the values of both variables. Now, on step number 4, we need to check if the sum that we get on step number 3 is odd or even. And basically what this tells us is that we need to store the result of this sum in some other variable so that we can use that variable to check if the sum is odd or even. And so we already know how to declare a variable, and in this case, since we are summing both whole numbers, our new variable is going to be also an integer variable. So it's going to also hold an integer number. So basically, we already know that to declare a new variable, we need to use the keyword int. We need to give our variable a name. So in this case, let's call it a sum result, because it is a result of the sum of the addition of the other two variables. And we use the assignment operator, and we close this statement. So right now, here on this line, what we are doing, we are declaring a new variable called sum result that's going to hold an integer, a whole number, and we are assigning the result of this expression on the right side to the space in memory that we had just declared. So basically what's going to happen when the program runs this line, what's going to happen is that it's going to execute this first. So it's going to sum the values of these two variables, and then it's going to store the result into this new variable that we just created. And so this is the first thing that we need. So we are summing both numbers and storing the result on a new variable. Now on step number 4, we need to check if the sum is odd or even. And to see or to check if the sum is odd, if a number is odd or even, we are going to use the module operator or the modules operator. And I'm going to show you here how the modules work. This is just like an online calculator. So basically what the module operation, you can see here, basically what it gives us is the reminder of a division of a number by another number. So for example, if we divide 4 by 2, you can see that the remainder is 0, because we have, if we divide 4 by 2, so number 2 is 2 times inside 4, and we have no rest after that. But if we divide 4 by 3, the remainder is 1, because the result is going to be 1.333, and so the whole number is 1. If we divide 4 by 2, it has 2, so it has no decimal numbers. The remainder is 0. So if you want to know more about the modules operator, you can check this website. But basically what we need to understand here for what we need is that we can use this modules the module operation, to check if a number is odd or even. And why? Because we know that all numbers that divided by 2, all numbers that are even, or all even numbers, when divided by 2, the remainder is 0, because all even numbers are divided by 2. So we can use that to check if our sum result is odd or even. Because if the sum result, the module operation of the sum result by 2 is equal to 0, then it means that the sum result is an even number. And to use the module operation here, what we do is sum result, and the modules operation is the %. So we check if the sum result % by 2 is equal to 0. And now to check if a number or if a variable is equal, if a variable is equal to a certain number, we need to use the equality operator, and the equality operator uses two equal signs. So basically what this does is compares what's on the right side with what's on the left side. And in this case, since we want to check if our sum result is even, basically what we are doing is the modulus operation, so sum result divided by 2 equals 0. It means that the sum result is an even number. Now please check that to compare if two values, or two variables or whatever, you need to use two equal signs and not a single one, because a single equal sign, we already know that it is an assignment operator. So an assignment operator assigns what's on the right side to what's on the left, and an equality operator compares what's on the right side with what's on the left. And this comparison, basically what this gives us, the result that this comparison gives us, is a true or false value. And a true or false is another data type that we have. Besides the integers, the true or false is another type, which is a boolean data type. And a boolean data type is basically a data type that only accepts true or false values. So in this case, what this comparison is giving us is a true or false value. So if the sum result, the modulus operation of the sum result by 2 is equal to 0, it's true. If it's not equal to 0, then it gives us a value of false. And we need to store now this the result of this comparison into a new variable. And since this comparison is giving us a true or false value, we need to declare a new variable, but this time, instead of being a variable that's going to hold integer variables, this new variable is going to hold boolean variables. And to declare a boolean data type, we use the keyword bool. Then we give a name, and in this case, the name for this variable, since we are checking if the sum result is even, we can call it result is even, and we assign the result of this operation into our new variable. So basically what's happening in this line is that we are checking if we are doing the modulus operation of the sum result by 2. We are checking if the result of this is equal to 0, and if it's equal to 0, and we are storing the result of this in a new variable called result is even. So if this is equal to 0, meaning that the sum result is an even number, then our result is even variable is going to have a true value. If this is false, our result is even is going to have a false value. And this is it, basically. So let me see, just add something here so that we can see the result, the kind of value that we have here. I'm not sure if it's going to accept the variable, just the variable without any text, but probably it's going to accept. Sometimes when it doesn't accept only the name of the variable, you need to do something like this, like an empty string. You do a string without anything and just sum with the result, concatenate with the value of the variable. But in this case it works. So you can see, okay, the result is even is false, meaning that the result is odd. And this is because we are summing the numbers 1 and 2, so we have number 3. The modulus 3 divided by 2 doesn't have a remainder, is not 0, so the remainder is going to be 1, and the result is not even, so we have the value of false. And now on the next video we are going to use this result and this variable to see if what is the player, or what player wins the round. So yeah, this is it. I'll see you on the next video.